we go. All right. Glad you guys all could make it. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Angela Klingenberg, and in today's class, I'm going to help everybody from the CBD lover to the newbies understand how cannabinoids work and how they work with essential oils, and they make a really great pair. Just so we kind of know who all is joining us this evening, if you want to pop into the chat box and just tell us your name, maybe your experience with CBD if you have any, and just maybe where you're from in the country. We like to kind of have little fun tidbits from people, or you can just say hi if you want to. We are going to go ahead and get started, but yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them into that chat and I will do my best to answer them, even if it's just at the end. But you might find that the question gets answered in the span of the class too. So in order for you to understand why this works so well, I'm going to give you guys a crash course in the endocannabinoid system and the different types of CBD you can use, the benefits of each, and the ins and outs of why combining them with essential oils is so amazing. I'd like you guys to keep in mind, I'm not a doctor of any kind. I'm not a specialist in this. I'm not prescribing or advising in any professional capacity. I'm seeking only to share the knowledge that I've researched and put together, both from myself and from the use of Grow Workspace. They offer really great graphics, and I appreciate how much work they put into that. They're a great resource for doing classes like this. They too are not scientists, but we all have kind of done a lot of research on this, and we strongly encourage you to continue to read and research for yourself, because that's really where you're going to find your empowerment. And that is one thing we're all about, is empowering you guys to have the tools at your disposal, pointing you in the direction of where you can get good information. So first off, we're going to talk a little bit about the types of cannabinoids so that you can have some vocabulary terms down. So first, there are phytocannabinoids. Phytocannabinoids come from plants. They are ligands or keys at the cellular level. They can either activate or block a reaction to receptors. And to date, we know about 100 to 200 different phytocannabinoids. The next up is endocannabinoids. Our bodies actually produce multiple endocannabinoids, and we have endocannabinoid receptors in pretty much every system of the body to some extent. Some areas of your body will have more of those receptors, and we'll dive deeper into that in just a little bit. Next up, synthetic cannabinoids. Obviously, synthetic generally means man-made or made in a lab. These fall under that category. And as we all kind of know, things that are synthetic and made in a lab often aren't well received by our body. And a lot of times they have little to no benefit to us. So now we're going to kind of jump into the meat of the learning. This stuff has been so interesting. The endocannabinoid system and what knowing about it can do for you. So historically, hemp originated from the cradle of civilization, so what is now the present day Middle East. In the 20th century, largely due to finding out about marijuana and hemp, and how THC affects the body, scientists discovered that we have this whole endocannabinoid system in our bodies. And I say discovered, but it's always been there. It was something that, we were formed with from the very beginning. We just didn't know about it until the 20th century. Also adding to that, the knowledge of how CB1 and CB2 receptors work, that was also established about that same time, and that science is continuing to evolve and just really be a little more in-depth studied, I guess you'd say. We'll talk a little bit more about CB1 and CB2 differences in just a little bit. The endocannabinoid system, or ECS system, is a biological system composed of endocannabinoids, which are endogenous lipid-based retrograde neurotransmitters. Say that a bunch of times fast, you get a little confused, that bind to cannabinoid receptors and cannabinoid receptor proteins that are expressed throughout the vertebral central nervous system. So that includes the brain, and the peripheral nervous system, so everything else, everything in that periphery. In layman's terms, the ECS, or the endocannabinoid system, regulates many functions in the body to help maintain body homeostasis. So homeostasis is that elusive balance that we're all after. So it is supposed to balance things like appetite, digestion, immune function, inflammation, which includes neuroinflammation. So that's a very, very important one to take note of. Mood, energy regulation, sleep, reproduction and fertility, motor control, temperature regulation, memory, pain, pleasure, and that pain-pleasure reward system. One of the things that if any of these get out of balance, that endocannabinoid system sends out endocannabinoids and enzymes to regulate the body and bring it back into that homeostasis. For example, when you get too hot, your ECS kicks into gear and you start to sweat to help bring your body temperature down. If you get too cold, on the other hand, it makes you shiver so that you work your body energy level and your heat level back up. When you're hungry, your stomach growls. That has that endocannabinoid system working there. When you get tired, you yawn because your body's trying to get that extra oxygen in. That's also the endocannabinoid system. If your body is unable to adjust to changes and effectively maintain that homeostasis, it will increase the likelihood that you will develop a disease. Your body makes its own endocannabinoids, but you can also use plant cannabinoids like we talked about previously, like CBD, to help support the ECS system and in maintaining homeostasis in your body, just like you use vitamins for extra nutrients and minerals. So it's kind of time for a mental check-in. After reading that long list of things, take a moment and think about all of those functions. Ask yourself, how well is your body functioning in those areas right now? Could you use a little bit more of the phytocannabinoids maybe to help your endocannabinoid system function better? And I think most of us, if we're honest, would probably say, yeah, there are times where I could definitely help with use some help with regulation in that. So now we're going to kind of jump into a little bit of myth breaking, a little bit of myth busting, just because I know THC versus CBD was something that way back in the day I had mental reservations about. They're very, very different. So both THC and CBD are found in the industrial cannabis stevia plant, hemp plant. They have similar structures, but are very, very different. So THC, or tetrahydrocannabinol, is the THC is short for that. THC is psychoactive. It's a psychoactive compound found in the cannabis plant. This compound is what makes you feel high. So that THC is kind of that euphoric feeling. It's that psychoactive compound. So CBD is short for cannabidiol, and CBD does not bind to those receptors in your brain and therefore does not make you feel high. Standard 5 and 10 panel drug test screenings for THC are what are usually used. So you'll have to note that using any product with THC, your drug test may come up positive. Standard drug test screenings do not test for CBD levels at all, though, because there's no psychoactive compound there. You will always need to check with your workplace if you're in an industry that does regular drug testing for knowledge on that factor. So now that we all understand a little bit more about the endocannabinoid system and the benefits of CBD, we're going to look at the differences between full spectrum CBD, broad spectrum CBD, CBD isolate, and then smart spectrum before diving into some of the essential oils that you can pair with CBD oil or using the blends that Young Living already has with Nature's Ultra. So let's jump into that. So full spectrum and broad spectrum CBD. Full spectrum is when the extracting process, the whole plant is used. It's distilled and extracted down into a full spectrum product. And it contains everything. So CBD, THC, plant esters, flavonoids, terpenes, and all of the other compounds in a liquid form. While full spectrum CBD can be effective due to the combination of CBD, THC, and terpenes, it is harder to regulate the exact composition in the cannabinoid profile It varies so much. And then depending on the strain and classification used for extraction as well. Also, this product contains THC compounds. Although less than 0.3% per law, if you are overly sensitive to THC or you need to avoid THC for any reason, then you'll want to avoid the full spectrum CBD. Full spectrum also is not ideal for pregnant or nursing moms. That's a big no-no. The next one that we'll talk about is broad spectrum. Broad spectrum is another type of CBD. It's the same as full spectrum CBD. It just is without the THC. So it is ideal for those who can't have THC but want the added benefits from other compounds, such as the terpenes, which have added health benefits. And then the next one is CBD isolate. So an isolate is the purest form of a compound, and therefore CBD isolate is the purest form of CBD compound. A CBD isolate is made by taking full spectrum product and then using supercritical CO2 extraction to break down to just the CBD. Since it's the only component in that CBD, though, you'll know exactly what's in it, which is a great way to have that quality control. There's no THC in a CBD isolate. It's just not possible. This can be very beneficial if you're extra sensitive to THC or any other compounds that are in a full spectrum product. This is a safer option for those who are subject to drug screenings and for pregnant or nursing moms. Using an isolate, though, does come with costs. In the process of converting a full spectrum product to a CBD isolate, the terpenes, which anybody who knows anything about essential oils knows those terpenes are important for essential oils, those terpenes are removed. The terpenes are actually beneficial in the CBD. Terpenes are the main organic compound that give essential oils their aroma, their flavors, and their medicinal benefits. We don't want to miss out on those benefits of those terpenes what those terpenes provide to us. So when we use terpenes in the form of essential oils along with our CBD, they have a synergistic effect, meaning that they each are more powerful than if they were just by themselves. But we just talked about the isolate. We just removed all those terpenes. You can add those back, and we'll kind of discuss how you do that. You guessed it. You do it by adding those essential oils into the CBD isolate, and you've just created what Young Living and Nature's Ultra is calling smart spectrum. This really is an amazing way to go. I'm so glad the scientists figured out that you could do this. It makes so much sense. But essential oils, they contain terpenes. We can add terpenes back into the CBD isolate by adding essential oils to the CBD. So the type of terpenes that essential oils contain will affect the fragrance, and the benefits, those will be resonant with what the essential oil benefits are. So we're going to kind of jump into a little bit of product education here. Not really super in depth because we've just discussed all of that CBD, and a lot of us do know what the essential oils really add to it. So we're just going to talk briefly on some of these. So I want to introduce you guys to Nature's Ultra with Young Living Essential Oils. The different essential oils contain different terpenes, and while each essential oil may have different benefits, there are some really well known for specific uses. If you want a more calming effect, you could use vetiver or frankincense essential oil. If you want an uplifting effect, you might use lemon or peppermint. If you want physically soothing effects, you might add wintergreen or ginger for tummy troubles. In a nutshell, by adding the terpenes found in essential oils to pure CBD isolate, you're increasing the overall efficacy of the product. And that means that a smart spectrum product gives you a much broader and more robust and purposeful terpene profile than CBD isolate alone. And that means more benefits for you. This stuff's going to work really amazingly for you. So that smart spectrum is a term that was trademarked by Nature's Ultra because they were the first to combine an CBD isolate with Young Living oils infused right in. These first three CBD oil, essential oil combinations that you'll see up on your screen are amazing and can be used in many great ways. The Cool Mint is a soothing and uplifting aroma that feels amazing on fatigued muscles. Our cinnamon is a spicy aroma. It's very invigorating. It offers a wonderful warming feeling on the skin when applied topically at the site of where you need it. And then the citrus one, it's a very, very energizing aroma. And it also is great for the skin. So these three combinations are available in 500 milligram and 1,000 milligram strength. So you can kind of tailor that to what you need personally. The next one up is one that I absolutely love. It is our Calm Roll-On. So this CBD essential oil roll-on is amazing when sleep is occasionally elusive to you, or you're having feelings like you're just having a hard time getting your racing thoughts in one track. It's also soothing and gentle, and it's a great way to wind down at the end of the day. I know personally, since we are coming right off of a long road trip, Calm was the one that I grabbed right after I put my Valor roll on my back. I ran over it with some Calm CBD combination oil there, and it was so great because my body was just road weary. It was needing just the relaxation. It was needing just that soothing, even though it was, you know, middle of the day. It wasn't at night that I needed the calming down. It was just my body was so tired. The next one up is another one that I was telling everybody before class started that I was using the joint and muscle rub. My knee just suddenly, after the long drive and my feet were dangling in the car for so long, or I was sitting crisscross applesauce, my knee's been bugging me. So that the CBD joint muscle balm has been really great. So this is one that I really think every household should have, because you just never know when you're going to overdo it in the garden, or you're going to need a little extra support for those joints and those muscles. It is a very icy cooling sensation, but it's not as icy cool as like our Cool Azul pain cream is the first thing that comes to my mind. And if you haven't tried the Cool Azul pain cream, you've probably used Ben Gay before, and you know what that feels like on. It's not icy cool like that. It's a much more mild, but it has that little bit of a menthol boost to it that is very, very soothing. Personally, I love having so many tools in my wellness toolbox. So adding these CBD products has just been another way to take that to a whole new level. Our last CBD oil that we're going to talk about anyway is our new pet CBD. It's simply pure CBD isolate, so it doesn't have any of the essential oils added to it. They did this because we all know that our pets can be a lot more sensitive to smell. A great option for it is using it alone with your pet, or you can add just one or two of your pet's favorite essential oils to it. Like I know that our pup likes lavender, so I could add just a little lavender to it if I wanted to use that with her, say like 4th of July when the fireworks are going off, or Labor Day weekend, Memorial weekend. We always have neighbors that shoot guns, and it always sets her a little on edge. So it makes it to where it's not going to have an overwhelming fragrance for them, and you can tailor it to meet Fido's needs. It's the same great CBD oil that we have in all the other products though. So if you are a person who prefers just CBD, it would be perfectly fine for you to use that, and it might be a really great option for you. So you might be asking yourself, especially if you're an essential oil user already, but what other oils could I use for a different outcome? And that's where we're going to talk a little bit about your CBD with your premium starter kit oils, just because those are oils that pretty much everybody has, because that's what you start out with. So when you can't fall asleep and you want something to help with that, when my stomach is upset and I want something to settle it, when I have a headache and I want something to make it feel better, when I'm anxious and I want something to help calm me down, you might be using your CBD for some of these reasons already, but you can combine Young Living essential oils with the CBD infused oils, or in combination with some of your other favorite essential oil singles or blends, and get enhanced results. Like everything else, we all know quality matters. So Young Living is the purest, most effective essential oils I've ever tried. And they're the only ones I would ever really recommend to anybody, just because I do know how well they work. And then you add on top of that Seed to Seal, and they're just always the way to go. So here on the screen, we have a list of common CBD uses and then the Young Living essential oils, both singles and blends, that you can use to enhance the benefits of your essential oil and your CBD oil when you combine them. So first up, better sleep, lavender, hello, obviously. Reducing occasional anxiety, peace and calming, lavender, valor, stress away, all of those would be great options. Reducing your physical stress, obviously stress away and frankincense and pan away, that would be great combinations, either individually or, you know, you can play around with it. Better digestion, obviously digest vitality is going to be a way to go. Peppermint vitality. For decreasing pain, pan away. Improving memory, you could add lemon vitality, frankincense. You could do for uplifting your mood, raven, lemon vitality, valor, frankincense, all of those would be really great options. Enhancing your immune function. And as we go into the fall, I know that is one to make really good notes on. You can add thieves vitality, citrus fresh vitality, lemon vitality. Enhancing your nervous system function. You could always add citrus fresh vitality. Citrus fresh is so clarifying for me for just when I'm feeling foggy. So that is a great one to write down. So I'll ask you guys, think about, as you're looking at this list, think about why you're using your CBD oil. Which ones might you be most interested in pairing with your which essential oil might you be most interested in pairing with your CBD? And then if you want to, you can go over in the chat box and write in what essential oil you might think that would be a good combination for you or something that you're dealing with right now. You don't have to mention the actual thing you're dealing with, just, you know, what essential oil you think might be a good fit for that combined with your CBD. So most people here are Young Living members already, and if you're ready to get your hands on Nature's Ultra CBD products, it's really super simple to do. You just follow these easy steps, and you can actually access it through Young Living's website. You just link your Young Living account with your new Nature's Ultra account, and it literally took us about 30 seconds to do. And we've walked a few people through it here back in Georgia, and it's so simple. Even like we were doing it at convention on a little, you know, pre-set up tablet, but it was just as easy here at home. And there's a little tab in your virtual office where you can click on it and it'll take you right through the process. But you might ask yourself, how do I get these essential oils if I don't have them already? So since there are so many needs and so many oils that can help with your needs, the smartest and obviously the least overwhelming way to get started, and you can ask anybody in the chat who's been an oils user for a while, the least overwhelming way to start is the Premium Starter Kit, because it gives you something for a comprehensive list of everyday things without being overwhelming. It is 12 oils, and it's everything you need to get started. The Premium Starter Kit is super cost effective at only $165. It's the only thing on Young Living's website that's 50% off of retail price. So that's something that I always like to mention because I like to save money, and that really clicked in my little budget-minded self. And each bottle has 80 drops in it, and you only need a drop at a time. So those kits last a really long time. And they are our family's most used essential oils as well. So you can get your CBD after you purchase your Premium Starter Kit, and then you just link your account just like we just talked about. You might be using your CBD for a lot of different reasons, but it does make really good sense to pair them with essential oils because they do enhance it so much. When you're using oils with our CBD oils, it's really super simple. You just follow the instructions on the label of the product. So each bottle has very specific instructions on the back, and you just follow that half dropper or full dropper on desired area. Super easy. And then you just add your essential oil to it in your hand or wherever you're going to apply it. And if you are new to using CBD, or you know already that you're sensitive to that type of thing, I always recommend starting with a half dose of what's the recommended on the bottle. They are very gentle though. We have let Isabel, our oldest daughter, use the pet one, which is 200 milligram. So it is a lower milligram, but we've let her use this one. And she's a tiny little almost 16-year-old, but it has worked really great for her. So you know your body, just test the waters, see how it goes. And I always like to say this: write down how you're feeling over time when you're using something regularly, even if it's essential oils, CBD oils, any of that. Write down how you're feeling day to day so that you can see, well, in a week I was feeling that much better, or it took 2 weeks, or it took a day. You know what I mean? If you don't write it down, you may not notice, especially if it's incremental change slowly over a little bit of time. So once you've ordered your own premium starter kit, you'll officially be a Young Living member, and you'll have access to wholesale pricing on the entire website. And then you'll have access to support from our entire oily community as well. And that is something that is really priceless, the way these ladies and gentlemen have come along, and just we make a little family, and we really do support each other. Even if they're not in the same exact oily line or anything like that. We have a really great community of people who are just gung-ho for helping each other out. You can always reach out to us for information on CBD, essential oils, any of our oil-infused products. The really cool thing that Young Living does do is, we all kind of fall in love with these products, and human beings are natural, just relational beings. So we instantly find ourselves, hey, this worked for me, sharing it with a friend. So Young Living does have that side of just, when you naturally share with someone, you can introduce your friends to these products, and, always ask me questions if you have any questions about how that part of it works out. And then that is all, guys. It was really great just sharing that information with you. I hope it kind of expanded your mind a little. And if you need any help with combining your essential oils with your CBD, if you have any questions about specific questions about how CBD works, if something didn't quite make sense, or if you have a specific line of questions, let me know. I can't wait to kind of reconnect with you guys a little bit later and see how you guys are progressing with the use of these. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now so we can talk, chit chat, and I hope you guys enjoyed the class.